Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the dimoco presentation. My name is Heinz Brasic. I'm the president and CEO of dimoco, and I would like to address today DCB goes m-commerce. It's a brief overview about potential markets and its drivers. M-commerce with DCB payments is potentially fooling the cashless society of the European Commission, and we are delighted to be a sponsor of the Global Carrier Billing Summit 2020 with dimoco carrier billing. On the first slide, I would like to present to you today's status of the PSD2, which is in force since 2018. And we have a very clear overview about the national law in all EU member countries. It covers mobile payments for physical goods in any country of the European Union. And it requires the telco carrier to apply for a PSD2 license or to become a PSD2 licensee of dimoco. What does that mean to become a licensee of dimoco? It means to be legally an agent of dimoco's payment institute, which is supervised and regulated by the Austrian Financial Market Authority. It is now enabled to process DCB payments for physical goods. That means that any agent service we provide to carriers enables the carrier to process physical goods. But there's a major difference for any other business carriers run in their standard organization. In this case, it would mean that any business is done on behalf and in the name of the Regulated Payments Institute of dimoco. That's the legal situation and the legal position we face for agents in the European Union. What kind of drivers do we see for m-commerce? Potentially new DCB revenue streams in new vertical markets, such as vending machines or vouchers, micro shops, sports betting, EV charging, delivery services, or FMCG products, fast-moving consumer good products, can be addressed with this license for physical goods. And of course, in the marketplaces, any offering, any purchase for physical goods. But that can only work from our point of view if it is supported by a local consumer brand. What we see in all the countries across Europe is that carrier billing is missing a brand, a consumer brand. Most of the brands are well known. Whatever the bank transfer means, whatever Apple Pay means, all that is clear to the audience, to the consumers. But the payment via the mobile phone, carrier billing, is not a well-known brand in the market. So potential DCB m-commerce market volumes we see for e-commerce. A global market volume of $6.2 trillion. And we see on the m-commerce side, what we have researched from the market research from Juniper or from Statista in Germany or from Concept Analytics, that the m-commerce market for the global market is a 3.2 trillion size. And on the European level, which consists of Western Europe and Eastern Europe market volumes, it is some 350 billion. When we focus then on carrier billing for physical goods, the global market volume seems to be 6.2 billion. This is at least what Juniper shows in their market research. And out of the 6.2 billion, even the Japanese market alone covers some $5 billion. And on the European side, we have a very small market for the time being, which is a 140 million market. That confirms us that the market is not really well introduced, or at least the product is not well introduced to the market, and that the consumers most of the consumers have no clue about carrier billing, or do not even understand that carrier billing, the payment on the mobile phone charged to the carrier bill, is not a payment methodology. When we simply use Japan as an example, and Japan is teaching the world how carrier billing can be used from a wide scope of the audience, from a mass market, the Japanese market is a showcase, and it can work as a role model for the European Union. But any international market research institute forecasts Europe at the lowest m-commerce market penetration, which is a disadvantage, and which cannot be that the European Union's innovation power is behind of Japan. It would simply raise questions as, is it easier for Europeans to follow American-based quasi-monopolies, or isn't it targeted by the European Commission to build independent brands and solutions for the cashless society? We see that as drivers, and we see that as opportunities to innovate m-commerce on the European market, equally to the Japanese, who have that already trained and educated in the audience, in the mass market, and that is hopefully an opportunity for the European carriers and for all the carriers across Western and Eastern Europe. DCB is embedded in a harmonized regulatory environment for banking and payments. It is supporting the goal of the Commission, of the European Commission, who is focusing strongly the cashless society and is heavily looking for a European brand, which is a cashless solution. Doesn't this all support a learning organization and the board's vision beyond voice data and 5G revenues? We think yes. We think that e-commerce could be a potential market for the carriers, and it could be a potential solution for the people in the various countries to use the mobile phone as a payment device. That's the reason why we focus, or why we stress the headline DCB as national consumer brand. Because DCB is no longer only a simple remote payment solution. It makes the smartphone to the all-time micropayment device. This is one of the drivers what we see in DCB, and it is definitely not in the value-added services, a premium SMS environment. This is by far beyond us, and it is all these services, all these value-added services are at the end of the life cycle. DCB has the potential to become a national or even across countries, a real weapon against Apple Pay or Google Pay and other global brands who really corner merchants and banks and carriers across Europe. We think that it is a unique opportunity for carriers to use the infrastructure and to use this asset as part of the infrastructure, and their brands and their names and well-known names to the market to introduce a national consumer brand for carrier billing. It is secure and safe. It is fully compliant with the EU banking AML rules, and it has no hassles. Everything is regulated. It is similarly regulated as banks in the European Union, and for anti-money laundering and all these standards which are set by the European Banking Association. This is a call for carriers to leverage their brand power and infrasystems. This is that's the key message which we would like to send to you, that in all the European countries, there are only very few operators who are ready to push a brand into the market which is clearly sending a clear signal to the audience, what is carrier billing all about. In case we can help you, we are, for the time being, a very trusted partner of 125 carriers around the globe, and dimoco can actively help carriers to bridge the gap to the next generation of TCP-based payment solutions, if and only if you want to generate new revenue streams in the future. Thank you.